This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Waid, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to the Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
It's a bird! It's a plane! It's a girl!
It's the Krypton Report.
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, just want to say you should check out some of the other podcasts that Southgate has to offer, especially if you're really into comics like we are. Check out Capes and Lunatics, where sometimes you'll find me when I'm not too busy saving the world. Nuff Said, Super Connectivity. Capes and Lunatics even has the Sidekicks episode as well. Check out those feeds as well as Titans Talk to get all your DC comic needs. Or Marvel. They're there too.
If you're an Amazon shopper, just remember you can go to southgatemediagroup.com. There's a portal, log into Amazon, and you'll shop into your account just regular, but it also helps keep Southgate running.
Happy Thanksgiving, James.
Happy Thanksgiving, Tyler.
This is our long-awaited...
Day early.
Yes, we are recording a day early, but by the way we're going, by the time we finish this, it'll probably be Thanksgiving Day. With all the stuff that we've had to do, this is probably the most rescheduled podcast we've ever done.
For real. But we wanted to get this out before Crisis. It's a good time to get it done this week with no Supergirl this past Sunday.
Correct.
So it's a good time to get this out and get it out before Crisis. So we are going to talk about Superman Returns.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a weird time. Like, there's no anniversary or anything like that. It's just we will be seeing the return of Brandon Roth as Superman. I thought, for a Thanksgiving Day episode, and we had planned on recording this at some point. Might as well do it now.
Yeah, it's been on the list to do for quite a while now, but it just, we never gotten it scheduled, and now seems like the best time. We're finally getting, Brandon Roth is finally, if I can speak, getting a chance to play Superman one more time.
And if we're what to believe, this is supposed to be kind of the culmination ending idea of the Reeves era Superman. So it's supposed to continue from a pseudo kind of picking up where Superman Returns is.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know how much of that world they're going to totally explore.
I don't think it'll be
what we'll find out with a child. I don't think they'll involve any of that.
I think. Okay, this is me. I think that we're not going to get much with all the cameo stuff that's planned. I don't expect much out of it. Like, I don't expect Tom Welling to show up and save the day. You know what I'm saying? As Superman.
Yeah. I mean, if there was like some kind of quick rescue scene and then him on the farm and then that's it, that would be great. You know what I mean? He's not going to save the day from Crisis, but to see him do something hopefully in a Superman costume, we're still just crossing our fingers.
Yeah.
But if we see him do something in a Superman costume really quick, and then he's on the farm, and then whatever happens. Maybe Smallville's wiped out by the Crisis. Who knows? Which would be sad to bring Smallville back and then have them wiped out by the Crisis. Maybe they're one of the 5 Earths that survives and merges. I don't know.
It may be. We're gonna see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start this.
Yep.
We are at
about ready to
0-0.
Well, you are at 0-0 because your digital version just starts up at the Warner Brothers logo immediately as you hit play. I am watching this on DVD, and 00 is a black screen. So I matched your screen, and that's about 0.07 seconds, and the Warner Brothers logo is spinning.
So,
But
so yes.
we're starting at the Warner Brothers logo.
Are you ready to go on 3?
I am ready to go on 3, play.
1, 2, 3, play. Now, right at the beginning, the fact that in the Warner Brothers theme, they incorporate the Superman theme, just the last few notes, is one of my favorite things ever.
Huh.
So, are you seeing the Legendary Pictures logo?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So,
I didn't hear. I usually when we do this, I've got it turned down and subtitles turned on. I don't think I got that this time. Yeah, I didn't get that this time. So
on the doomed planet of Krypton, a wise scientist. So this is a nice little title card.
yeah.
No. It was always interesting when they announced this movie, that this is where they were going to pick up, considering, this is really tying into the Donner films that we had just seen, and the year before we had gotten Batman Begins,
Right.
So we got a completely fresh, new take reboot, and then the next year we got a sequel.
Wasn't Batman Begins 2005? This was 2006.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just a year before.
Oh, okay. You said something. I thought you said it backwards.
And
I love the effect of the star going supernova.
Oh, I love the
imploding on itself.
The destruction of Krypton in this is awesome.
Yeah.
Just the visual of it. Like, I had kind of hoped that just for fun that they would have reused the same footage in the TV show Krypton.
Oh, right.
Just to kind of just to kind of pull it around.
Right. Well, it's one thing we've said about this movie, and we'll say multiple times here, is it's a gorgeous movie.
It is a gorgeous movie. The cinematography is great. It's so bright and vibrant, and I love it. I do want to state with this movie, okay, I have a soft spot for this movie. No matter what people will say or try to talk about, Superman Returns sucks, I'll defend it. And that's because this movie came out at a time in my life where I needed Superman. Like, that whole 2006 was kind of a rebirth year for me in a lot of different aspects, and I won't go down why. But one of my favorite things that I bought that year was my Superman Returns belt buckle, which I wore until it broke.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and I have it sitting here in front of me, and it's my favorite belt buckle. I saw this movie 3 times in theaters, and I still have my ticket stubs.
Oh, nice.
It was right when 3D was starting to come back, and the whole film wasn't in 3D, just certain scenes.
There's so many good people in this movie.
Oh, I know.
And that first lineup of the cast, and this opening sequence of traveling across the galaxy, seeing all these different style planets, and like it looks like there are some planets that are like uninhabitable with moons that are like habitable, that look almost like Earth-like, green and blue, like water and life.
Yep, and then we get the spaceship that looks like a planet itself. But I mean, did you see this in theaters? What was your history with it?
I did see this in theaters. I did see it once in theaters. Of course, you don't not go see a Superman movie in the theaters.
I went at midnight, opening night, and then the theater was right by where I worked, And I could just get off work and go if I wanted to. So
Yeah. I know I went opening weekend. I can't recall who it would have been with. Heck, at the time, well, let me see, actually.
wasn't me.
At the time, no. Actually, at the time, I believe I was actually probably single. I probably went and saw this by myself.
Oh, that's sad too. But no.
Well, it happens. I mean, the year before when I went and saw Batman Begins, me and my ex had just broken up like that week, so I went and saw that by myself.
So this is like a weird way to open this movie, but it's nice because it has Noelle Neal in it. And
yeah, that's who that is.
Been Lois Lane before, and she was also in Superman the movie, and you and I discussed that when we did the crossover with Last Sons of Krypton. Was she's on the train?
Mm-hmm.
As Lois Lane's mom, and here we have her as the dying widow. That this is a shorthand way to get Lex Luthor his money, because if this is supposed to be Hackman's Lex, and we're continuing, he was never rich. You know, they never really went into that, but the Lex Luthor that is in the comics at the time of this is not the same Lex of that first film. So it's just shorthand to get him money.
Yeah.
And it works. I mean, the one thing I will say about this whole film as we go through it is everybody in the cast got shortchanged by trying to be a...
Yeah, everybody was boxed in by trying to be somebody else's version of the character.
You know,
like Kevin Spacey, you know, current stuff withstanding, current known stuff withstanding, has always been a fantastic actor. And, like, he would have done an incredible job as, like, you could almost see him as if they would have actually done like a current version of Lex, he would have been a fantastic billionaire evil genius.
Yes, he would have.
But, you know, he had to go back to his land schemes.
And yeah, and I mean, now I do love the farm in this movie.
Yeah, it looks excellent.
It's just it is. I don't know. It's just a great looking movie. Like the farm looks great. And we see like this is him returning now. I won't dig too much into the production of what led to this movie. There was just several different versions of Superman that was in the works before this movie got made. It's fascinating. Just research it, look it up. But I will say there is like one major scene that's a deleted scene from this movie where we actually see him arrive at Krypton in a gray suit, Superman suit, and then his ship turns around and comes back. And this is him returning. I mean, it's beautifully shot there. The crash in the window, Martha looking out. And I think she did a good job as Martha.
Yeah. And the only, not the only sad thing, but one of the sad things about them making this movie was Warner Brothers forced Smallville to change and adapt more of the Donner Superman to kind of match more closely with Donner Superman in this, when prior to it, it was very much its own thing.
Yes, Smallville had its own unique history and lore that they were creating, and then it got Donnerfied with this. And it's in a lot of ways, Superman Return kind of screwed up a lot of stuff, you know, kind of hindered. If you think about it, if you really wanted to be a hole about stuff, Superman Returns kind of screwed up not only Smallville and the film itself and Superman on film, it even affected, like you and I talked about later, Man of Steel, because Man of Steel was such an antithesis of this movie. And we'll get into that more as we go on.
Yeah, we discussed that back when we did our Man of Steel commentary about how in this there's very little going on. There's, you know, the action is all like natural disasters and just, you know, things that only Superman can do, but he had no physical threat.
Yep.
And they just went back to the Kryptonite to be the only physical threat of the character in this movie, which had already been done. If you consider, if you consider this movie to be a sequel to that, like they literally just did the same thing that they did in the first one when it comes to Kryptonite. Like, so,
this movie is so weird in the way that it's a sequel, but at the same time, this is almost a remake of Superman 1 in a lot of ways.
Right.
I just want to throw out here real quick while we're watching the scene of Lex with Kitty, who is a new character, not Miss Tessmacher, a new character that just shows up on the yacht, on the Gertrude's yacht. I'm wearing my Superman pajamas, bottoms, my Superman t-shirt, and Superman house slippers because I wanted to be decked out in Superman attire. Just thought you should know, James.
I'm sorry, I was focused on Kevin Spacey giving his monologue here.
It's okay. I feel the love.
Well, I haven't watched this movie in a while, so I'm happy to be doing the commentary, and I'm glad to watch it with a friend and somebody who enjoys it as well.
I agree.
So
it's one that I tried to get Junia to watch it, and she never could really get into it. And I get it, because it is, like you said, for a modern audience, in a lot of ways, it's boring.
Which to a modern audience, the original Superman the movie is considered boring to a modern audience, because it's old school style filmmaking. You know, it's long, not a whole lot different happens in the ways of him saving people and doing what he does. I mean, the cast then was fantastic. This cast is fantastic now for this film. So, I mean, lots of similarities, but definitely to a number of people, it can definitely be considered boring.
Now, this scene right here is Lex in the fortress. This was in 3D. During the film, it would flash, put on your glasses, and it felt like the crystals were coming out towards you in 3D.
That's cool.
Even just watching it like this, it has a 3D feel to it. So
yeah, it certainly doesn't look like they're standing in a matte painting, you know, like they're standing on a set and everything just looks like it's painted and set up behind them. Like the crystals are in the foreground and the background, and
here's this is, you know, this is cool with Lex picking up and going to the fortress, but I hate this. Like, oh, he can figure out how it works. It's alien technology. it's just a crystal. You know, Superman learned things from the green crystal. So the fact that Lex is easily can deduce and figure out how to operate this kind of bugs me. I also find it interesting and weird. There's no Otis type character, but there's henchmen that never talk in the background.
Right, and one of them being Cal Penn. Like,
yes,
and he's great. He's funny. He's a good actor. And yeah, he was happy to be in a Superman movie, you know, but he's just a background henchman. The only thing he says that I can recall is "oops."
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, wait, he had a line?
Yep, when he dropped the crystal into the water.
And then here's
the sliver of the crystal.
Marlon Brando. And it's a very interesting just that he's there.
The interesting thing is, like, with the advanced technology and the way that things are currently, like, it seems like everything is pre-recorded, you know, like anybody can access this data. If they can get to the fortress, anybody can access this data, which apparently this fortress, you know, is wide open and you can walk inside from any direction.
Don't you feel like it should be colder? Like, humans should just be like, I can't do this.
Well, it should be cold. It should be very cold. I mean, sure, on the inside, perhaps there's, you know, no wind or whatever. But that's actually something that me and Connor over at Last Sons had discussed during our Halloween discussion of Action Comics. The fortress design in the New 52 was actually like a fortress. It was like a dome shape. It was enclosed. You couldn't enter it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And in this, with the Donner one, it's just these spires coming up out of the ground with 100 entry points all the way around it. Like, there is no way that it's secure in any fashion. And apparently there's no security or artificial intelligence to stop any intruders from doing whatever they so please, because Lex Luthor walked in there and took everything.
I do want to point out that I love this scene. The scene of him waking up and kind of walking and then just looking in the sun rising on the farm, and then the cutaway of this memory scene that is cool, like the corn growing and him running. This scene was also in 3D. I mean, this movie has, if you go and you look at the first trailer for this movie, it's amazing. The first trailer for this movie is awesome. Like, I mean, I love this scene of him like jumping and just like, enjoying and learning. But this is, I don't know. I guess because I'm such a huge Smallville fan, I like Clark on the farm.
Right. Well, that's where he comes from, you know? And, like, he has a serious jump, like, because he's running out the field and he makes multiple smaller jumps. Mm-hmm. Then he turns around, takes a couple, and then he makes a jump all the way back to the farmhouse.
Then he falls through and he lands, and it's kind of just, you know, hanging, kind of flying.
Right. That's kind of cool, though, how he discovers it instinctively, you know?
Yes.
He's crashing down from, you know, doing his jump, doing his leaping, because he can do that. I mean, leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Yep.
But the fear of kind of like crashing uncontrollably, and instinctively he stops, learns he can fly.
There's his doggy.
Shelby. I'm assuming. I don't think they say a name.
Yeah, that's what I
Poor dog. Like, my ball is gone.
He's like, yeah, I'm done.
So I can't follow that.
And then, hear him skimming through the TV, just looking. And I like this.
I'll go find it. I need 40 more to way walk Sonic the Hedgehog.
Because I like the fact that this is Clark, like him. This is him. This isn't Superman. This isn't the Clark mask. This is him, the actual person. Because Superman.
Clark Kent, powers and all, no facade.
Yeah, this is Superman works like in a threefold. You have Superman, which is this ideal image and personality, and then you have Clark Kent's the disguise, and then you have just him. And this is where we actually get to see him, and that's kind of a little bit like in Man of Steel, where we operate for most of pretty much the entire film, is him. So, I like his mom in this. She works for me. I always felt Martha in the original Superman the movie kind of creepy.
Oh yeah.
And then I feel like you could have maybe done a better story if he hadn't went back to the Daily Planet right away. But I felt like we had to get him to the Daily Planet. Like, Clark Kent's got to be back to the Daily Planet. Got to send him back. Get him back there quick.
And after 5 years, he comes right back into the role of bumbling Clark Kent.
Yep. It would have been kind of neat to see like a scene of him like getting dressed again as Clark and just kind of like having to reassess himself as that character.
Right.
And then Jimmy's still a cub reporter type photographer 5 years later.
I know, right? Like you'd think he's a full-fledged photographic journalist, and you gotta love Sam Huntington. He's great.
Oh yeah, I love Sam.
He just
I feel like
he's really good.
They could have done a lot more. I think, like I said, just kind of if we're gonna sequelize this thing and take it up, let's evolve the character. Let's give Jimmy more to do and make him more James. But it's like we want to get right back to where we left off without reeling.
He's in some of my Sam Huntington's in some of my favorite movies and TV shows. Being Human, Detroit Rock City. He got to work with.
It's jam, Mom.
He got to work again with Brandon Roth on Dylan Dog.
That was a cool movie.
Yep, I have that. And, of course, he's in Fanboys.
That is a great movie.
I love that movie. It's so funny.
With any more going on, me and you might have to pull a Fanboys to get the Snyder cut. But that's just...
Right.
I'm throwing that out there.
Yep. We'll break into Warner Brothers, access their digital archives. It's a little different than going to steal a cut of the film.
Yeah.
Go to steal a reel.
So,
why the world doesn't need Superman. So, Lois. So I could see I could see Lois like being bitter, you know, after Superman disappears the way he does. But like this kind of takes it to a whole level, like writing a Pulitzer winning article about why the world doesn't need Superman, and like this she's not the best Lois.
No, she's the worst Lois. I would just flat out say she is the worst Lois. I mean,
yeah,
it's not hard to say, James. Just say.
She's the worst Lois.
I kind of wish we could
out of all of them being pretty darn good, and she just not. Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, I wish we could have read that article. You know, why the world doesn't need Superman, because I think I don't know, like it does seem like it's just a bitter attack on him for leaving, and then it's like, why did you leave us? Well, I wanted to go see about my home. Oh well, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of, I don't know, I think it's selfish, you know. This man sacrifices everything for everyone, and he just wants to find out about his heritage,
right,
and where he came from.
Well, she does say that. Yeah, she does say that he just disappeared without telling her, without saying anything. And you would think that with the experiences in the first two, the fact that he, you know, turned back time to save Lois, you know, after he knew her for like a month, if that,
this is
like, he wouldn't disappear. You know what I'm saying? Without telling her, like, hey, like, there's this possible evidence of, you know, my home world still existing.
But you got to think, this is a sequel to the Richard Lester cut, where he kisses Lois and makes her forget things. Because I don't have the brain power right now to dissect it, because at the time of this movie's release, and because of this movie, is what was able to give us the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. But this is the sequel to the Lester cut. So I can kind of see why he would just go, because his and Lois's relationship is different. But then at the same time, it's kind of weird that she has a baby and has no idea maybe whose it is, because she doesn't remember her time.
Oh, so they slept together and then he erased the memory, and so, you know, he's super date rape drugged her, huh?
I mean, think about it. He turned back time, like
that just makes it a whole lot more creepy when people call him like Stalker Superman in this movie.
Yeah.
But the fact of them being together, them having a child, okay, I'm assuming that she probably knows, or that she has a strong suspicion that, you know, he is Superman's child, not Richard White's.
Yeah, I think she has a suspicion. I kind of wish they just would have made it Richard White's. I'll be straight up honest. Like, I would have liked the idea of toying with this, but
oh no, he didn't even say oops.
Maybe it's a different scene.
I think he says something on the boat later on before they launch the rocket with the crystal and the kryptonite.
Yeah.
Parker Posey's hilarious. But just the fact of him leaving without a trace. You know, he turned back time in the first movie, which is supposed to be a sequel from. You know, he turned back time, and he barely knew Lois, and yet he turned back time to save her because it was the worst thing ever to happen. Was she died during what happened, you know? But then he just disappears for 5 years. Yep, there's the globe.
Okay, so
I love the big globe on the building.
So do I.
I like that. I always like when that's in the comics and when it's in the shows and.
What do you call it? So this scene is probably like my favorite scene in the film, and if everything's to be
it's the best scene in the film.
This was actually storyboarded and designed and written in one of the earlier script version pitches of Superman that was going to be directed by McG. Or it was either McG or Brett Ratner. I want to say it was McG, but I could be wrong. It could be Brett Ratner. Because there's so much about, like I said, like the Superman flyby, the Superman this that was going to be made. You know, you can even find the production design of the Superman suit that was created for this before we got the suit that we got.
How nerve-wracking is that? Experiencing a power outage at 40,000 feet.
I mean,
the power goes out completely on a plane at 40,000 feet. I'm pretty much going to piss myself. Because there is nothing that can happen at that point.
No. I just wanted to say all that because I find it interesting because, like, I think it was Brett Ratner, not I think more because it was kind of like Brett Ratner and Bryan Singer switched movies. You know, Bryan Singer went to work on Superman, what became Superman Returns, as Brett Ratner went on to do X-Men 3, which also says that Bryan Singer, by doing Superman Returns, screwed up the X-Men franchise. That's another argument.
He just screwed up a whole lot of stuff, didn't he?
Yep, like his career right now. But
yeah.
And
well, you know, I mean, when you're a piece of crap, eventually it's going to come out and, you know, can ruin your career.
Yeah. So this whole thing is just, I don't need it. Like, there's so much stuff in this movie. I feel like it's just excess. I don't need this.
Yeah, like what is this? You know, like a sliver of crystal. Like, okay, I can create land using crystal. Like it's a seed or something. And all I need is some water.
You know, and I wanted to say that about, you know, Ratner and McG and all that, because it might have been from McG that went to Ratner, then on to Bryan Singer. Just that the most action-packed scene in the entire movie wasn't even done by Bryan Singer.
Right. Well, I mean, if you watch, you know, X-Men 1,
it's boring as hell.
You know,
it is.
Yeah,
boring
there's two action scenes in that movie.
It is so boring. And X-Men 2, which everyone says is so much better, it's better. It's still not like my favorite. It's still dark and depressing.
I mean, they're really good movies. They're well-made films. But yeah, they certainly do have boring elements to it. X2 picks up on that, but you know, picks up from that. But
but this is a really well cut.
This is a pretty cool scene. Like that. This is going to be messed up. Like.
Gosh, I just don't like her as Lois Lane. Ugh.
Boom.
And she's supposed to be Margot Kidder, Lois Lane. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, she is not Margot Kidder. Not at all. That's pretty crazy though. Like being stuck in the plane as it's being rocketed towards space at this high rate.
Stupid. I'm not a huge fan of Frank Langella as Perry White either. Like, and because he's supposed to be Jackie Cooper, Perry White. You know, he just doesn't have the energy. You know, I mean, that Jackie Cooper, and I think part of it is because of Spider-Man. I'll say that because I feel like J. Jonah Jameson took so much from like the Perry White style that if he did Perry White, it just feels like he's copying. We also missed the fact the bartender was the original Jimmy Olsen from the old Adventures of Superman George Reeves series.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
So here we go. He's walking out into the crowd. Everybody's looking at all these TVs. Running. It's out of focus, into focus, shirt rip.
Yeah.
Kind of sucked. Like they did it the way they did. Like so.
Yeah, like he could have
so
ran
close.
in and it was zoomed in on his face as opposed to like a little bit more of a wide shot to get the S in the shirt rip.
Okay, you know what scene has a great shirt rip that's pretty dang exciting? Is the first time we get the Tyler Hoechlin running down where he takes the tie off, throws it in the Supergirl episode, rips the shirt and all that. Like that gave me goosebumps. Okay, just that gave me goosebumps.
Yeah, Tyler Hoechlin's first use in those first 2 episodes of Supergirl season 2 was fantastic.
I love this. The radar is picking him up, and then we get this cutscene. Boom, flies past the camera, heading to the plane.
Yeah, and the radar, he's just a blip here, and then he's a blip there because he's so fast.
And then they're all
there's no trajectory.
And then like she sees him out the corner of her eye, flies past the window. His boots on the plane.
It was pretty cool though when he steps on the plane too, that it kind of crushes
the heat vision,
the boot prints.
So we have the heat vision, similar to that, like the way they did at Smallville. There's there's CGI Brandon Roth,
which looks good.
I mean, it looks decent. It does. I mean, there's some parts, and then here they are, like in the atmosphere.
Yep.
You got the plane and the shuttle.
Here where they're just under orbit, kind of floating just outside of gravity before it grabs them again.
I do want to say that I'm not a fan of the boots that were used for this suit or the cape.
The cape looks so heavy.
Yes,
and then
the boots just look so clunkily and rubber.
And then the red is not quite red.
I'm okay with
it's like maroon.
I'm okay with that. I like the belt. I've always liked the belt of Superman Returns. And I'm okay with the smaller symbol, too, just to be something a little different. Because, like we've talked about before, I love that shot of just him flying down to the plane as the plane spirals.
Yeah, this scene is so good. I love how he tries to catch it here and
works. I like the blue bodysuit. The smaller trunks work. Every Superman kind of gets their own S design, their own shield design.
Mm-hmm.
Except Smallville, he got cheated.
Yep. He was given like the classic S design, kind of like Chris Reeves, and then he was given this design.
See, this is little spoilers right here for anybody who's watched The Boys. See, Homelander, you just try. It doesn't matter. You try anyways.
Yeah.
I love this scene. I love this, the quick shot. One of my favorite shots in this film is right when he comes directly, like he pushes through that. And like
I love that.
It looks like he flies into the camera here in a minute. Right here. The plane comes at you, and then right here he flies right to you. Boom. Love it.
Mm-hmm. That's the same type of shot they used when in Batman versus Superman, when Superman flew through the drone.
Yep. And then we have the baseball game, and people are like just now noticing the plane coming down. Just now.
Well, I mean, you probably wouldn't notice that it's diving straight to you until it gets fairly close, considering.
See,
But this right here, like, just that ripple effect.
He's holding it, and then he boom, sits it down in the middle of a baseball game. And everyone cheers. Now, I will say that this
Fly up. Thank you. The plane is on the ground with no wings, and we're somehow alive. Thank you.
Is everyone all right? I mean, he looks good in the role. I actually like his body style, like as odd as that sounds, because he's fit, he's firm, but he's a little leaner. And if you think about, like, if Superman was on Earth, like, could he build muscle? Because, to build muscle, your muscles have to really work out.
Right.
And he couldn't lift anything. So, like, nothing would be a workout.
He'd have to work out like Mr. Incredible, benching train cars.
Even that, you think about it, like, or like.
Well, when he's a teenager, it would work, but.
Yeah. See, I love this. I love everybody's cheering. They're like, "Yeah, he's back." Everybody's cheering. He's on the jumbotron. The whole world's rejoicing.
He does have the good guy look, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, Brandon Roth looks dressed like Superman. I mean, he looks like such a good guy. You could never expect him to be anything but.
And then he flies off and leaves the plane in the middle of a baseball field. Seriously, Superman, bro. Like, seriously.
Game is called on account of the plane. There's a plane in the field.
I'd be that one person like, Superman, bro, come back and get this, man. And then we get, cut away to Lex. And did I really need this scene? We saw the crystal grow. All right, cool.
Well, I mean, this here gives you the idea of what he wants to do, that one tiny sliver of crystal created this giant spire of crystal, like, so what's a whole crystal or a whole host of crystals capable of?
Here we go. Everything's about Superman. Everything. Now, I remember seeing this and people getting freaked out when he says truth, justice, all that stuff. And people being like, "Oh, what happened to the American way?" And I said, at the time I was like, look, I don't really feel like there is, like, the American way like it was when it was formed. Like, Superman's bigger than just America now.
Yeah. And the American way is not a popular sentiment around the world.
Right, exactly. And he's, like I said, he's bigger than the.
And unfortunately, that's a real world problem. When you're going to market a movie and distribute it worldwide, and the country has done a poor job of,
Man, there's good old James Marsden. My favorite Cyclops. Like, he was such perfect for Cyclops. But no, because of this movie, he barely was in the X-Men 3 and got killed off. Spoilers. And here we have Clark meeting Jason. She never mentioned you. Which makes me think more about Lois, how she was in Superman the movie, towards Clark. You know? Where it's just like, oh, Clark. So, I feel bad for him. He plays the
He's so good.
Yes, he is. And I wish he would have got more chance to just be him. But if you notice, his Superman's / Clark's eyes changed color throughout this movie. Where I wonder if they had him wearing contacts, and then they digitally changed his eyes to make them blue.
Right, digitally enhanced them. Like, yeah, because they're blue, but when he's Superman, they're like a bright blue.
Like right now, they're
when
really
he's
popping.
Clark, they're dull. Yeah, I mean they're blue, but they're like they practically shined when he was standing there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I like James Marsden. Yeah, he got shortchanged as Cyclops because of Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. And then he came, like you said, he came over here to do this movie. So they killed him off. And like Hop is hilarious. Like he has no problem like making a fool of himself and having fun.
I know.
You know? Like he's the prince in what's that movie, Enchanted, with Amy Adams. And he's the Easter Bunny, becomes the Easter Bunny in Hop, and he's gonna be opposite Sonic the Hedgehog coming up next year.
I do like this shot real quick and then like straight down to.
That is one awesome yacht, though.
Yep, straight down as Lex walks out, pulls the newspaper and opens it to the headline: "The Man of Steel is back." But yeah, that's one reason I think Sonic will be fun because he's just great.
Yeah, and the redesign looks great. As a side topic, the redesign looks really good. You know, I mean, they did listen to people because the design was not good. Mm-hmm. And
there it was.
What are you going to do?
That's his line. That was it. So I like how people of the Daily Planet are reading the Daily Planet. Just everybody cramped in the elevator. Poor Clark. He's trying to smile, be friendly. And Lois is like, hey. She don't even look like she's old enough to be Lois Lane. I'm sorry.
And she's like, what, 22 in this or something?
Something ridiculous like that. I mean, she looks like she could be Lucy.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Brandon Roth was only like 26 at the time.
If I remember right, he's younger than Tom.
Yeah.
So.
By just, a couple of years, but.
Yeah, nothing substantial.
Yeah. But at the time of this movie, he's only in his early to mid 20s. He's not in his late 20s. And she's barely there. See, he just takes off Y without saying goodbye. Like.
So she was about 22 when they were filming this, like you said. So yeah, she is way too young for Lois. Especially if this is supposed to be Lois from the first movie. Like, and it's 5 years from that. She needs to be fit.
Yeah.
She needs to easily and then once again, the antithesis style, we get Amy Adams in Man of Steel. And
who is mid to late 30s during Man of Steel, whereas Cavill is late 20s.
Yep. I love this shot of just him flying over, like patrolling.
Yeah. Man, I always wanted to fly. Flying looks really good in this movie.
It does. I still want to fly, bro. Never give up.
Oh no, I'm not saying I'm saying I've always wanted to. I always want to. I always will want to.
So she was 37, 38 when she filmed Man of Steel. She was born in 1974, and they filmed Man of Steel in 2011. So look at that. Okay? Just think about, like I said, antithesis. Now here we have this one of the scenes that we talked about. It's kind of stalker Superman-ish, where he just kind of creepily descends, and he just looks odd right here. Like the makeup, the lighting, the curl. He looks very mannequin, fake.
He does.
Very plastic.
I've always liked this X-ray vision though. Like
Yes. I always
different.
X-ray vision is just an expression. He doesn't actually use X-rays, you know?
Yeah,
And-
they're actually radioactive.
And he can see through layers of things. Like, so, like right here. He's
Walls closed to the skeleton, like if necessary. And that's kind of the one thing, like, I would think, like, with his, so-called X-ray vision, that as he peers through layers of stuff, like he would see it as it is, how like in Man of Steel, he could see bone and muscle and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He would see real stuff underneath. It was for effects and budget-wise why they did the X-ray look in Smallville, but I wouldn't say that that's how his X-ray would look, for almost any reason.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it.
Richard, them, like, their house, I'm sorry, like, he's got to be fronting the bill for that house. It's just kind of weird for her not to be in an apartment in the city.
I want that toy.
Excuse me. Time to get some water from my Superman water bottle. Yeah, but I don't like this scene of just the way he looks. And it's so awkward because he erased her memory. What does he expect? Now, I do like this. Him flying up into the sky. Just hearing his father's voice. And just that frame of him flying.
You killed someone, he fell.
Whoa. Somebody died.
Yeah.
Children, man.
Yeah, they're playing some games on their phones.
Now, see, I like
Just
this.
being loud when I've told them to keep it down.
I like this. Just him kind of hovering in space.
Yeah.
In orbit, just kind of watching over the world. And the cake kind of just behind him.
This shot and this poster for this movie is still the best poster
See, I like
for
this.
any Superman film.
I like this. Just he's hearing everything he's hearing.
Yeah. See, what's nice about this is he's kind of like discerning where he needs to be,
I love that. Just when he breaks out. Now, this scene is my second favorite scene in the movie.
Yep.
And this was done in reshoots. Because...
And then it's the last one, the last good scene until the third act climax stuff.
Maybe. But, so this was done in reshoots to add another just action scene, which this should have just been done originally. I don't know how you think to make a Superman movie without the idea of action to show off this, but they're getting away from robbing a bank. This is like straight up like comic book villainy here, okay? We have 2 doofus security guards, okay, going up to stop these guys who have a helicopter and somehow had time to mount this giant machine gun.
Like, that is a massive Gatling gun.
Exactly. Like, if they came prepared with this thing, okay? Like, it is built.
So this is inner gang right here, but they don't say nothing.
Okay, I'll buy that. I will so go with that.
There we go, headcanon.
And then here we have, the doofus 2 security guards with just regular revolver pistols. I'm sorry, your security, and I'm pretty sure that at this point your job description doesn't make you have to go after the money. They bust out. They shoot the guy directly on his back with his bullet.
Like, that's some serious body armor he's got, though.
Right, exactly. Then he turns the gun around.
Thing is massive.
And just, like... I like this shot.
The slow motion image is so cool.
Because I love the shot. You have the slow motion bullet fire.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, the slow motion explosion out of the barrel. And then you can see Superman fly in.
Yep, and just right there, boom. And this is my favorite shot.
So in this coming up right here is kind of just like Tyler Hoechlin asking, why punch?
Yes, yes.
Like, you have this humongous gun that you just unloaded and did nothing. But sure, let me pull out my 9mm pistol.
And then there's, like, shoots him in the eye. I mean, I love the scene. I love the imagery. But it's dumb as crap.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, the imagery is awesome because, I mean, you've never seen that before. Somebody try to put a bullet in his eye like that at point blank range.
And the fact his eye kind of, like, blinks. So, I mean, it's kind of neat, So,
although the recreation, well, not recreation, an homage to Action Comics #1 cover that's coming up, which is really cool,
Yeah, it is really cool. Yeah. This is an okay scene. So, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it's going to cause a distraction, Like, that'll probably draw Superman out.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping him distracted while they're doing their thing. And, I mean, Parker Posey, she's great, She can be funny. She can be serious. She's a good actress. She's probably one of the couple of parts of Blade Trinity that I like.
You like Blade Trinity? It's like, I actually like Dominic Purcell in that. I think he got shortchanged, but
it's got things that are good in it, but overall, it's not a great compilation of those good things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Triple H being a vampire.
Sucked.
That was not one of them. That was not one of the good things.
But Lex got his kryptonite.
So, yeah, he just got her out of the car after he caught the car from running into a table full of people.
I mean, I like just the imagery of him in the suit and him getting her out of the car.
Yeah.
Being like, oh, thank you. Grabbing her.
Right.
Jumping up in his
Yeah,
arms.
Lex. Right.
Kid with the camera phone.
Yeah, that's funny too, because that comes back to Olsen when it comes up. But got Lex finding his kryptonite again.
I feel like it's like a little extensive just to get the kryptonite. But whatever, you know. I do think it's...
See, now when he's flying, the cape looks kind of cool. You know what I mean? It waves and everything. It looks lighter. But, you know, when he's just standing there, it just looks like it's this heavy thing.
Mm-hmm. Probably a mixture of different capes, but yeah. I totally get it.
Oh, Jesus. Stop being mad. Why do you guys do
I like how he flies away from Kitty. Looks good.
Just catching people. So tell me why it's okay to see a montage on the news of him saving people like this, but it's not okay to have a montage of him doing a whole bunch of super rescues in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Can somebody out there tell us why, you know, there is a difference between this montage and that? Because I see none. And here we go with the cell phone camera. 12-year-old with a camera phone. So that was filmed just as a trailer moment. It's a bird. It's a plane.
I got this. I got this. I got this. Fork.
I've done Superman.
Hey, look who's here. It's Brian. Brian is in the basement, ladies and gentlemen. Brian
Oh,
has
wow.
arrived.
Hello.
Say hi, Brian.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies.
Pause is the worst Let's Plane ever.
Luthor's yesterday's news. So, if this was a modern version of Lex Luthor, billionaire, crimes against humanity, Lex Luthor, no matter what, he would not be yesterday's news.
Darn right.
You know what I mean? But being Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, like, yeah, basically he can be considered yesterday's news.
Well, but Hackman did such a great job. Like I when I watched this movie, the only thing that I feel was probably the best thing done was Kevin Spacey continuing that Gene Hackman Lex Luthor. But
Kevin Spacey would have been a better Lex Luthor if he was his own Lex Luthor and not Gene Hackman's.
well, can we just agree that this movie would be a whole lot better if they allowed everybody to be themselves? Somebody new?
Absolutely. We did say already that that this movie was hindered by everybody being stuffed in a box of being somebody else's character and not their own version.
I agree.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, and I mean this movie, I mean, other than the good old Superman 4 and Superman 3, I probably put Superman 4 at maybe 3. I don't know. I really like the scene where Superman's drinking because I can relate. but
there are aspects of 3 that I enjoy, but it ultimately takes a turn for the worse.
Good point. They could have had a very nice Bizarro story.
Yeah.
They blew it.
And they, for whatever the legal reasons, I believe that they couldn't use Brainiac, which was their original intention. If they would have done a Bizarro and a Brainiac story, probably would have turned out better.
Well, I think the greatest disappointment in Superman history is the fact that we never got Christopher Walken as Brainiac.
All right, I can go with that.
Superman here in my lair. Wow. I don't even know what to do.
I think his cadence would work really good. He could even make it slightly more robotic, but also just augment his voice a little bit. But his cadence would work really well. I think that would be really cool. The actor who plays Brainiac in Krypton is amazing.
I forget who played.
I forget the actor's name. He played the voice of Rao, and then he played Brainiac, embodied Brainiac, and he was really good. Like he came up with that however he worked and came up with that speech pattern, the cadence he talks, he speaks in, and the prose that he uses when he talks. It was really excellent written dialogue, and and the augment they used for his voice. They nailed Brainiac in that show. If they don't do that and better, it's just not gonna work. It'll be disappointment.
Well, do you think? Okay. Well, let me pose this question here. So Brandon Roth is going to be Kingdom Come Superman. Mm-hmm. He's going to be, but he won't be the Kingdom Come Superman that we know and love from the comic of with Alex Ross. And, he will be the
it's kind of like
Reeve.
Right, yeah, it's kind of like Kingdom Come adapted to be like this version down the line, this version of Superman down the line.
But it's almost
it's not like a page to screen exact translation.
Well, once again, it's kind of disappointing because once again, Brandon Routh does not get to be his own Superman. He is still a continuation of Christopher Reeve Superman. And for Tyler Hoechlin, whatever the heck
Hecklin, I think is what I've heard pronounced Hecklin.
Yes.
Maybe the O is silent.
Tyler, whatever.
Yeah.
He...
Not our Tyler. The other Tyler.
Our Tyler's the one and only Tyler. But I would rather have a Brandon Routh Superman show than Tyler. I feel that Tyler. I feel that if anybody that's got to play Superman, Brandon got the short end of the stick because he never got to be his own man. He never got to be his own Superman. It's like.
So I'm hoping with the Kingdom Come version, you know, we're not expecting to see him for very long. From the images and the trailers, we might see him a couple of times. We are most likely I am undoubtedly sure that we are going to see him more than we will see Tom Welling. Undoubtedly. We will see his version of Superman more than we will see Welling, but we will see it surely less than Tyler Hoechlin's Superman as well. So I'm hoping that he gets enough room to and so much time removed from Superman Returns that he kind of gets to be his own Superman. You know what I mean? Embody what he was, but he's so far removed that he's able to grow and be a different Superman, his own Superman at that time. You know what I'm saying?
So you feel that Brandon will be able, in this Crisis 5-parter, will be able to overshine the things of the past.
I am hoping. I'm thinking they didn't just give him a chance to be Superman again, just to like, hey, look, I was Superman before, I'm Superman again because it's Crisis, because I can be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that he had like some involvement on how he wanted to be that character, you know, given the chance to expand his own role as Superman a little bit. But like I said, you know, we are undoubtedly only probably going to see him in one episode. I'm probably assuming that he's only going to be in one episode. If he's in two, I'll be surprised because I just saw today something from Kevin Conroy saying that he's only going to be appearing in the Batwoman episode on December 9th. So December 8th, Sunday, is going to be the Supergirl Part 1 of Crisis. December 9th is Batwoman Part 2 of Crisis. If Kevin Conroy is playing Kingdom Come Batman, Kingdom Come Bruce Wayne, and Superman is playing Brandon Roth is playing Kingdom Come Superman, I'm assuming that he's going to start in Part 1, and maybe their part, you know, the Kingdom Come like time or people will be concluded by Part 2.
I agree.
So that would hopefully give him a chance to expound upon his version of Superman during Supergirl Part 1, and then on the out in Batwoman Part 2 of Crisis, because that's the only time we're going to see Kevin Conroy.
Yep.
So I'd hate to see them apart, you know what I mean? Like him just alone, because they're on the same Earth. I would hate to see them just a little. Let me turn down the movie a little bit.
We changed mics real quick. You can have your seat. No, I'm going to give it to you. I just want to say real quick, like I said earlier, so here's the scene of him and Lois doing their Can You Read My Mind flight. Like, it's so many beats that are the same to this movie.
Yeah, but this part's a lot better than the Can You Read My Mind? Like,
you know, but I'm just
yeah.
Like, we were talking about how this is a sequel, but yet it feels like it's just a beat remake of the original Superman.
Well, it's kind of like The Force Awakens, you know what I mean? Like
that one's different.
So
I don't know if I go that far there.
a lot of similar beats recreating, you know, the first.
I guess another problem. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess another problem I have with this scene, like, I like his whole speech where he says, you say that the world doesn't need a Superman, but every day I hear them crying out for need, need of a savior or whatever. Like, it's this movie kind of shows that. Well, at this moment, he doesn't know that he has a son, but it does put him in a deadbeat dad type thing. Like, he knows he knocked her up. I think he does. Like, you can see the DNA in that kid.
Well, he has to focus to be able to like magnify and see his DNA.
What's that?
I said he would have to focus on trying to see on that, that molecular level. I mean, he could, granted, but quit it.
I don't know. I just
quit it.
I don't think this movie was necessary.
Well, they wanted to do a new Superman movie, but they boxed themselves in on trying to be something that should have been left alone, which to this day, they still can't leave it alone. People can't let go and accept a new version, perfectly good and acceptable versions. You know what I mean? It's nothing saying that you can't have it and it be your favorite. It's always going to be there. You know what I'm saying? But it's also done, like it needs to be allowed to grow.
Oh, I agree.
And people don't want that. And when they do, when they do something new, then it's just not. It's not what it was. And then they're like, so you're like chasing your own tail. Like,
I don't think people nowadays know what they want, man. They say they want new stuff. We give them new stuff. No.
And then they complain it's not the old stuff.
Nostalgia. So you get the old stuff. No one can ever be happy.
No. I'm happy.
What's that?
I said I'm happy. I'm not happy about idiots, but I'm happy.
Yeah. I mean, here's her scene. She returns. They're eating dinner. And he's like, tell the truth now. Were you smoking? She's like, no.
So was it windy up on the roof? Her hair all frizzy.
I don't know. There was a when Superman tried to kiss her, and then like she turned away. Man, you could see the devastation in his eyes. Like it's been 5 years since I kissed me a woman.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's been a while. So Brian's here.
Yeah.
Always great to be visited by Brian.
The Brian.
The Brian. The greatest there ever is, was, and ever will be.
The Bret Hart of podcasts.
It's true. I mean, this is how, like, I'd rather talk about Brian than listen to this fake Lois Lane talk with this pseudo okay Perry White.
Oh, that's Perry White?
Yeah. To me, he's not even Perry White.
That was good, though, what he
had retired, and it was Richard that was running the paper.
Right. That was a good line he had, though. Just with her argument about her second guessing on winning the Pulitzer at this time now because of his return. But
this is a cool shot.
Nobody cares why you won a Pulitzer, just that you won a Pulitzer.
The descent into the fortress is a great great shot, and he already looks pissed.
Well, if I had to wear that suit, I mean,
Dude, I'd feel empowered in that suit, man.
I like the dark red. I like the darker red.
I don't care if it's that suit or not. I'd rock that suit, man.
Oh, I would too. See, I like the darker red with the brighter blue. Like, I like his.
It's too rubbery. Looks too rubbery to me.
Now, I mean, the texture is a different story.
You know who has a really good Superman suit? The Henry Cavill guy.
Which one?
Yes, he does.
You know.
I like
All
the
of them.
BVS suit. I don't like his Justice League.
The BBS.
And there's things I
So-
like about his Man of Steel suit. But,
So speaking of his Justice League suit, I was always curious if it wasn't until the reshoots where they put that chrome underlay underneath it to really have that bright shiny spots on it, you know?
yeah.
I was wondering if that was in the reshoots, you know, if they changed it just to make it so much brighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in a recently released hashtag released the Snyder Cut shot that Snyder released of the Trinity, of his Trinity from the Justice League, it was the same suit with the chrome underlays. So that was Henry Cavill's suit in Justice League with Snyder. But there is a difference because when you look at that Trinity shot, Henry Cavill looks jacked. But when you see him standing with the Justice League at the end as a reshoot, he looks a lot skinnier because he isn't trying to stay bulked up as Superman. You know, because when he was doing Fallout, he had to be more athletic because it's different style training because it's to nail the stunts.
Exactly.
Whereas to be Superman, it's to look like Superman. So it's a different style of training, and it reflects.
Look at the old cell phone.
Yeah, the old Nokia.
It is crazy just because, like you said, I understand wanting to change the suit up because I mean every suit gets changed in every movie slightly. One, it gives that movie its identity with that suit, and two, it's a new way of selling toys and merchandise.
Yeah. Oh yeah, merchandising drives all these movies, especially.
So you got to change it up. But yeah, this is the Lex Luthor wig thing is ridiculous, and I could care less right now. I hate it. Like, she just doesn't interest me enough as Lois to be concerned. Like, I find Kevin Spacey's Lex compelling, but once again, he's held to being Hackman. So
You're bald. Yeah, everybody in this movie was robbed having to play a different version as opposed to their own. You know what I mean? So, because Ralph did a great job. So, Kate, she could be changed, recasted for somebody else. But Brandon Roth did a great job. Kevin Spacey was awesome. Parker Posey could have even played a Mercy as opposed to just some random, Miss Tessmacher pseudo stand-in.
I like his suit that Lex has because the tie and everything, it looks very like animated series Lex in a way. And I like this speech he gives because I feel like this is where he slightly starts to get his own Lex, where he starts to dip a little darker than Hackman, and it's just nice to see.
Yeah, it was nice to see him be able to go darker than Hackman was able to. That was definite. That was for sure. He did get that. I could see Kevin Spacey as like the same version of Lex from the animated series. You know what I mean?
So one thing I did like about Spacey's Lex, I'm gonna back Tyler up on this. When he does do his speech, and Lois starts saying, Superman will come for me, and then he just yells at her and says, "Wrong!" Hackman really wouldn't have done that type of speech, or had that type of anger and like emotion. Hackman was a little bit too much of a coward, Lex. Like he already thought he was like 5 steps ahead, and he already won. And you can see in Spacey's Lex, like, he's no coward. He stabs Superman. He doesn't make someone else do his dirty work for him. Like, he stabs Superman. He yells at him. There was this. Okay, this movie is like the epitome of lost potential. Like, if people would just been able to do their own dang thing, in case Bosworth wasn't your, Lois Lane, and they got somebody else that, maybe had a personality. So much good stuff.
I would have taken Parker Posey as Lois over Kate Bosworth in this setting.
Because at least she can act. And Bosworth, man. You could have put a cardboard stand-in of Margot Kidder in and got a better performance. Are you still with us, James?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I mean, I know you're not engrossed in the movie. I mean, you might be, because this is a good Kevin Spacey scene. I mean, he's like bringing it on, showing his printed out, like, charts. Like, who printed those? Like, where did he get those made? Like, those aren't like a slideshow he made on PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, that's like...
Yeah. And I mean, and this is like, Kitty actually is understanding what he's doing. And then I can see Brian saying this. Rock!
Yeah, man, those are some professional maps he had made up.
I mean, just look at Parker Posey's acting right there. Just the subtleties of realizing how crazy Lex is. And this giant cylinder of perfectly made Home Depot-looking kryptonite. And then this is where we get our first, like, who's that boy's father? Richard White. Are you sure about that? I would have preferred it to be Richard White's son. I've said that already once. But it just would have made more sense. This character is just like lost in canon. Like, will they mention him in Kingdom Come? Probably not. I say Kingdom Come, and I just want to say, like, it's gonna be. It's like Kingdom Come inspired. It's not actually Kingdom Come, so people need to calm down. But it might actually be. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because maybe this.
Yeah, me.
He became Magog. That's what it is. His son grew up to become Magog.
Yeah. Me and Brian were kind of talking about that a little bit. Saying that Brandon Roth would still be stuck playing this version, be playing Christopher Reeve Superman, if his Kingdom Come isn't Kingdom Come, but it's a continuation of this version, But so I think it gives enough time, to allow for him to have grown and become a different person and really make the character his own, and give him a little bit of a chance to show that, as opposed to, maybe just 2 scenes with Welling or something before he's done. Like, I have no doubt that Welling's going to be in and out pretty quickly, but I'm hoping Brandon Routh, especially since he is since he's on the CW currently, that he will get a chance to be Superman a little while longer because he's already there. He didn't have to be brought in to shoot something extra, you know, and just actually have the chance and the time to do something with it and be his own version of Superman.
You're absolutely right. And can we just say that this is so odd, just the firing of the crystal outside of like this thing, and then who has interactive computer screens when someone puts in a password that waves no on their thing? Right, Dennis?
You didn't say the magic words.
And who has this simple of a password? There's no capitals, no exclamation points, no weird characters and number combination. Okay. I do like when he notices the picture frame's busted, though. It is pretty funny. And this is just annoying, like the guy just staring him down. I don't know. It's all like just slowly paced for no real great payoff. I mean,
This movie could have been an hour and a half.
oh, it is the Tyler Patrick cut that I made of it. It is like an hour and a half long, and it's enjoyable. I mean, the pacing's great. Why does he look like a gigolo?
Or whatever the creepy clown, tattoo on the back of his head reveal. Like, whatever, dude.
He's like, I'm just going to stare at you at play piano. I mean, it is kind of funny that he can play and joins in and they play together, you know, chopsticks. But I don't know. This Lois Lane just makes me want to wish that it sank. Like in Superman just wandered like Kingdom. That's what made him Kingdom Come. She actually died. Right here.
There you go.
He's like I already turned back the earth and then kissed you, made you forget, and you still are trouble for me, woman.
So how does she know their exact longitude and latitude?
At that moment, because they're moving in sea? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because maybe there's something around there that tells her. And that maybe she has, like, global position. I kind of wish that there was a part in this story, like an underlining theme that Superman has yet not completely reacclimated and having all of his powers back and being able to control them. I think that would have been a really good theme throughout the movie of just showing him struggle. Like, you know, kind of like he struggled with the plane just because he's not back. Because we do know that, like, in the comics, Superman has his ear to her. He has his ear to her heartbeat. So all she would have to do would be like, Superman, and he would hear her. Like, she wouldn't have to yell it. All she has to do is whisper it, and he would find her. So if they had just made it a little bit different where his powers aren't fully back and restored, it would explain why he's screwing up.
Right.
There we go. Kryptonite growing underwater. Can I just say, would the kryptonite grow with the crystal? Because we saw in Superman the movie that the kryptonite got wet and didn't do anything. But this is saying that the crystal itself will grow in water.
Yeah, it's saying like the crystal, and then the crystal will take on the properties of the kryptonite.
Because Brian's just going to jump to the end real quick because he has words to say. And I'm going to pass the microphone to Brian, and then I'll comment. Ready, Brian? And go.
Damn it, people. He can't lift a continent made out of kryptonite. He can't do it. I don't care how much he flies into the sun and he just sits there for a bit, maybe drinks some Mai Tai. I don't care what the hell he does. He cannot lift a continent made of kryptonite. End scene.
Kingdom Come, Superman could have. But no, it is a little far-fetched that, it's not completely solid kryptonite, but the fact that it has kryptonite in it, and he has kryptonite in him, and trying to play by the rules of this universe where we saw him just with the kryptonite necklace and couldn't even swim. And he's been away from the Earth for a while. Yeah, I can totally see him not pulling it off, but there's some things that could have been done differently. But, yeah. James, thoughts while we watch the scene of the reveal that Jason is Superman's son as he, takes the guy out with a piano.
Right, throws a piano across the room and smashes him. Yeah, I had the same thing. He was just standing on the continent, and he's starting to sweat. And then he gets beat up by 3 or 4 goons and stabbed and has a chunk of kryptonite inside of his body. Yet he can pick this continent up and fly it. Maybe not even continent at this point with just the one, you know what I mean? He had the intention of doing it multiple times. So like maybe this country, you know what I mean? Like this country size island made out of kryptonite. Like he just got pummeled by guys just from being on it. Like no way is he carrying that. No way is he throwing that into outer space.
So, yeah, he magically had powers to move a piano and then can't open the door. But, here Lex is watching his continent. Okay, first of all.
Well, if he's...
This continent he's looking at, okay, yeah, it's going to destroy and kill people, but it's going to make a landmass for what? Because it doesn't look like Krypton. I mean... It would have been cool if, like, the landmass they could have made into New Krypton in a sequel, but you can't farm it. You can't grow on it. It's just a rock.
Yeah. I love that he's worried about the boy now.
Yeah,
like,
now.
He's smart, yeah. Well, he held the kryptonite to the kid. Like, if the kid is Kryptonian, the kryptonite should have an effect on him. Like, it's kind of the argument with Smallville. Like, just because Clark loses his powers here and there doesn't make him human.
Exactly.
He's still Kryptonian, and that kryptonite would still hurt him. It's still his biology. So same thing. Like if the child is Kryptonian biologically, then the kryptonite should have been hurting him.
I like this where he's like trying to get to the elevator. Why didn't he just take the stairs and run up to the top of the floor? Like, why does he go into the elevator? Okay, this is a great shot. I mean, symmetry-wise, like the course closing as he goes up. Okay, so he busts through the top of the elevator, busts through the top of the building when he could have just went to the store, like to the stairs.
Right.
I mean, it's a great shot of him flying off with the music, and then I like this of him going out, flying. It's a great shot of him flying, and then noticing the crack in the roof, and then turning around.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like there isn't that supernatural element to Superman. He's not going to fly up through the elevator shaft without destroying the elevator shaft. You know what I mean? Like, it's more believable if he jumps out the window like Christopher Reeves did. like Christopher Reeve did, you know? He jumps out the window and changes his clothes, and not just, you know, magically changes his clothes, but actually like rip off his clothes like he did when he was flying out.
Question: did Christopher Reeve ever throw a punch in those Superman movies? Apologize for that.
He threw a punch when he had no powers, when the guy kicked his butt in the diner in Superman 2.
Because Brandon Roth.
Did he throw a punch at Zod and Non and stuff,
Yeah,
or was
that's what we're
that
talking
just
about.
kind of like grabbing and pulling on each other and throwing each other?
I mean, the movie works for a sequel to those films, but at the same time, like, it's just... My biggest thing is in 2005, you released Batman Begins, which is a complete reboot, start over. But for some reason, with your other most famous property of Superman, you could not come up with an idea to reboot it. You had more trouble getting it off the ground. So you just kind of were like, oh, well, we'll just do this one and not do these other reboot ideas that we have.
Yeah. Yeah, people liked Reeve. Let's do that again. Which bugs me. I mean, I'll watch the Reeve movies anytime. You know, I'll watch them whenever, but they're done and over with. Like, that's why Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie. You know, it's something completely new. It's something, you know, big, and it's got a lot of action, and he's got an arc. That's pretty awesome catch. So some of the stuff he does during this scene is pretty cool, but in the movie, he never has a fight. All he does is some saves, which, I mean, watching Superman save people is great. You need to see those in a Superman film. You need to see them. You need to be hinted at them, whether it's montages and stuff like that. But also these days, well, you know, you want to see Superman fight somebody who can match him. That's pretty wild. All the flames coming out. And that's cool watching him fly through the flames. Like, nothing affects him, you know? I mean, that's pretty apparent. But he knows where to go and what to do, and he can, you know, he does make some really great saves in this movie. It's like flash burn all the flames out. And the Daily Planet Globe. That's pretty wild. Oh, he hears it. After that whole fall, it's like a big downpour of rainwater. Through the building. That's pretty cool too. I remember this. I'm not sure when it was, but it's pretty awesome promotional image. Superman catching the globe. Hope that person had car insurance.
Dude, I totally love this scene. Like, just the imagery of him sitting it down. Sorry, I was on mute taking care of
hope that person had car insurance, man.
But Jimmy, like, just getting those photos is great. I mean, the imagery for this movie of Superman is iconic. I mean, there's great shots.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad is, like, there's not as many iconic shots in film of Cavill and BVS. There's very few. There is some in Man of Steel.
See, Man of Steel, there's a couple. In BVS, there's a few more. But in this one, it's like there's all of his saves because that's all he does. You know, all of his saves are iconic shots, but that's all he does in this movie is saves.
Pose.
Ah, it's sad to watch that yacht go. Man, it's like a live at sea yacht, you know?
Why is nobody talking? Why is nobody talking?
I flew. It's funny, kind of ironic. I flew.
Dad, can I just have the rest of this? Okay.
Oh no! The yacht breaks in half.
Are you just talking about the movie?
Yep, talking
I'm
about
back
the movie.
completely. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Brian showed up because he asked me to house sit his animals, and I just had to.
Yeah.
I walked him out real quick. It was an impromptu Brian visit, so it was nice.
Hey, it's cool. He got in on the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
when he had to drop out.
But that's why we were kind of out for a second, and then I had a problem. I was trying to switch the microphone back, and it went kind of like off for a second. It was weird, but so I like that Richard's a good guy. Like, I like that he's not like I'm kind of rooting for Richard. I actually prefer this Superman with out Lois. Like, I could easily have seen this Superman evolve into having a relationship with like a Wonder Woman character if they brought this into like a universe, you know. So.
Well, not that we will, but Kingdom Come version has a relationship with Diana, or did.
Exactly.
Forget if it's did or does.
I mean, they do because they, you know, the end is.
She's pregnant at the end, isn't she?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I said, not that we'll see. Oh, Jesus! I forgot about the door.
Oh, that dude, she should have been dead.
Yeah, dude, that freaking door, that would have cracked her skull open. Like, that's like dead on arrival. This is an awesome rescue too.
Oh yeah, I kind of wish he would have went down and came up. you know. But it's cool, you know. I mean, it's still great because, like, this shot of Richard just holding basically his wife and son, poor guy,
Yeah.
and just feeling hopeless. So. Then here, like, you see the boots.
Just come out of the water.
He just comes out. Like, filming this part would be kind of interesting just because you would just stand there and be pushed from the bottom with it.
Yeah, they would raise it up out of the water, and you just got to stand there like you're flying it out. We've all done that.
I mean, yeah. We do stuff all the time like that. Like, look at me.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like when you deadlift 400 pounds.
Look,
like,
man,
you're just like,
not everyone's a beast like you, okay? As much as I need to get back into it, and I'm hoping to here soon, not everyone's a beast like you. Because not everyone has an awesome, like, it's like 25 to 30 minutes away, the gym that has childcare. And I'm just like, man, it's just slightly too far to me to make trips to.
right. Yeah, so my gym is really close to me. It has a child care area, so it has hours for child care. And my kids are now just about to turn 10 and 11 years old. Since the gym is so close and they both have phones now, I'm comfortable with locking up the house and driving less than 5 minutes away to the gym, and they can stay home and entertain themselves.
It makes sense. So here we have where Superman pushes.
Because I'm only gone for an hour and a half. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like they're home for 8 hours a day because I'm at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a start.
It is. It's also a way to build your trust and comfort with situations with your children. In a kind of
they need to be responsible for themselves.
I love that.
That impact, that landing.
Yes, and then just the pan up of like the symbol. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Which is we're watching.
That's
in real time. But no, you're exactly right. Like, it's a good time for your children if you can trust them, and you feel your children are responsible enough to move forward. You know, and
so I've been where you are. Gyms not with childcare and younger kids. So there was a time when I was not going to the gym or going to the gym often at all. I mean, right now it's inconsistent. Sometimes I go. Sometimes I'm able to go a few times, like in a row, and then there's a break, and then I can only make it again once, and then there's a break. Late nights and early mornings and, late days at work. I got to pick up the kids on the way home. They have to eat. They can't eat at 9:00 at night. That's bedtime. So like, I got to sacrifice for them. So that's okay.
You're exactly, because you're the man. I'll do like this Superman Red, where you see him sweating. That's a big idea.
Yeah.
And then, Lex pushes him, catches him off guard. Like, this scene bothers me. Like, it bothered me the first time I saw it. Like,
it's pretty intense, like how they're beating him down. Well, when we get there, I'm a little ahead of ourselves. Lois, are you all right? No, I have my brain hanging halfway out of my skull from that door.
Oh, she totally should be like, she should forget who she is. It's like a plot from season 3 or 4 of Lois and Clark.
Right.
I do like Richard. Like, he's he's trying, to take care and do what's right. And
the vein of kryptonite running through it, he can see it.
which is awesome. Like, and you see that effect, like, on his hand, and, like, he's shaking, and, like, there's the big blue eyes. Kryptonite. I mean, in a way, he's a very silent Superman. He expresses a lot with his eyes, and it's just one of those things. Like, I love this whole cast except for Kate Bosworth, and I'd love to put them in a better film. And so, and then there's Cal Penn just standing there. He catches, and he's getting dragged. And it looks weird if you, like, just looking at it from, like, a costuming point, because it looks like he's being dragged, but his trunks look like they're pulling up on him. So it just kind of looks awkward, like he's getting almost like a wedgie or something.
Right. Well, they need to, competently drag him without hurting him while it's being made to look like he's being dragged by his hair and his face.
Yeah, here's the big beat up scene. But see, I'm always curious by, like, the physics of kryptonite, in the sense of, like, green kryptonite. Does it just make them sick and weak? Does it completely render them powerless? Like, what is the complete effect? Because if it's,
and they've used that in a range, you know what I mean? Like, it's a wide range of effects.
Because if it should make him completely powerless, him having that sliver inside of him should really be affecting his power here soon for him to be able to do anything. So if him just being exposed to this right now, I just, like, how does it work? So this is kind of a Christ-like metaphor type thing right here. The stabbing of this in the side.
Yep. Broke it off into him.
Which is hardcore.
Yeah.
Lex and his ego. That'd be like me being like, yeah, man, I just whipped you because you got both your arms and legs cut off.
Yeah, I could not see Gene Hackman, coming up to shank Superman, even with kryptonite or anything.
Yep. See, like, right now, you could just blast him with heat vision.
Right.
But then once again,
but standing on a kryptonite continent and having kryptonite shard in his back, can he use his abilities like that?
Right.
Generally speaking, probably not.
The only reference point we have is how Superman the movie reacted to kryptonite.
So, I mean, in that one, he couldn't even lift the stone chain off from around his neck.
Yep.
Like, it wasn't like he was chained up with kryptonite. It was literally just a rock hanging off of a chain around his neck, and he couldn't lift it up. So, I mean, kryptonite would render Superman, like, incontinent. He can't do anything. I mean, he can't save himself. So, for the fact of him doing what he does in this movie to a kryptonite island and a shard stuck in his back makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Like right here. Here we go. He's got kryptonite in him, and he's trying to swim. This is back to, like, Superman the movie.
Mm-hmm. And he can't keep his head above water. I mean, he's so weak he can't even swim.
And you're going to tell me Lois is going to dive in with that dress on? And...
Right, her Pulitzer dress. And she didn't even dive in, she just hopped in.
And Jason's just sitting there. That cape just looks super heavy. And, like, he could be sinking at a quick speed.
Right.
See, now, Richard, there's a man right there. He dove in.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like this. It's like this is good stuff, but at the same time, like it just feels very kind of drawn out.
That's a pretty big island.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's massive.
Yeah. Like it's got a river flowing on it. A waterfall.
So.
Oh. Having that whole tip of that kryptonite stuck in him.
And like even just when he screams out like ah.
Yeah. Oof.
Dude,
that's deep.
Yeah.
It's like 4 inches deep in him.
Just opens the plane door. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you crazy?"
Right.
They're like,
your son found you.
He's like, child support? Nope.
Right. Superman doesn't have a job. He's not the Flash. He doesn't make marketing money.
That's why he befriended Bruce Wayne.
Right.
He's like,
reporter's salary? No, thank you.
What is it?
My best friend's a billionaire.
And Superman, Batman Superman Apocalypse, he's like, I'll pay for
you. Owe me a computer.
Yeah, he's like, I'll pay for it.
She torched a $50,000 computer. Bill me on a reporter's salary.
Bro, have you been watching Black Lightning?
I'm behind on it.
Are you 1 episode or 2 episodes behind?
Like 3.
Dang it. All right.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell me. I'm okay.
No, there's a character that he has a power to like move Earth and stuff, and he takes a piece of coal and then just transforms it into a diamond. And that's kind of what I see.
Oh, I heard that's the kid Brandon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. So, okay, that was a really beautiful shot of Superman flying up to the sun and kind of like bathing in the sun and getting recharged, which I think would take him longer. then we see basically he using his heat vision to shoot down to basically he's going to dig into the earth and go far enough under the island to have Earth as he moves the landmass, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I kind of always pictured Superman sitting around like, I need some money. Here's a lump of coal. Boom, diamond,
right.
diamond.
So that little thing there, you say, like, I mean, creating a separation, like getting Earth between him and the island, I mean, it's the only plausible explanation as to why he could lift that.
Mm-hmm.
But he still has a shard inside of his body because they remove it in the hospital. And it doesn't create that much separation because there are large shards of it coming through the earth that he is using to lift it up through the bottom.
Mm-hmm. And then here is like where Lex makes his getaway, where it's just kind of like they're like, "Yay, let's get out of there." It's just falling apart now, like the desolate. Like it doesn't even look like beautiful Krypton. Like it's crystal, but it's black and muddy and dirty, and it just looks yuck. Like I wouldn't want to be there. Would you want to be there?
When the place seems to be collapsing in on itself?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Would you want to live there on Krypton wannabe?
Right. No, it doesn't look comfortable. It looks pretty darn hard.
I like Kitty takes the crystals and dumps them out of the helicopter so he basically lost the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to have seen a sequel to this, just because, they were like, oh, well, we're going to do more with the sequel. And, I mean, I remember the sequel was going to be called Man of Steel for the longest time. That's the sequel title that they had. And
oh, was it?
Yeah, and
I think I might recall that.
And, I mean, here we go. It's starting to raise, and it was going to be more action-packed. And I'm like, you probably say that now just because you're mad that everyone said your movie sucked because it didn't have anything in it.
Right.
And there's enjoyable. Like, this is... I'm trying to find the best way to describe this movie. Is like, it's a good movie, but it's not the movie that we wanted or we deserved. It's not the movie we waited for. And it just could have been so much better. And I mean, as time goes on, it's kind of like, it's a really cool shot of just going under the rocks to see him as it's falling apart, as he's, lifting it. Like I said, in my head canon, he's got so much earth between him and it that he's moving it. Because we see, like, the rocks and stuff falling that's actually earth. Because let's think, if he doesn't pull this off, wouldn't that be an extinction level event?
Right, it's like Sokovia.
Okay, now here's where we're getting the kryptonite lace crystals starting to come out. Now,
but they're massive and they're still pretty close to him.
yep. Had this been like Kingdom Come style, there would have been no problem with this. Because they talk about how a K-bomb would not even affect him in Kingdom Come.
Because of his time on Earth.
Yep.
Yes, he's absorbed so much energy that kryptonite no longer affects him.
Which is awesome, but here's the big climax: is he pushes a rock into space.
Yep.
I mean, it's dramatic and it's cool, but it's not. I don't know. Like if this movie was cut down into like an episode of like a Superman TV series, like a pilot, okay. Like if you were launching a new series and this was like your pilot, but for my cinematic, oh look, there's the Jesus pose.
Yep.
Because every Superman has to have one.
I still don't get why he's this Christian, Messiah. He's been made into this Christian Messiah figure because
it started in the Donner movie.
He was a Moses analog.
Yes.
Not a Jesus Christ analog.
And it started in Superman the movie. Is really where,
which is like I said, it's done and over with.
It's
go back to the roots.
It's just, and that's the problem is, people don't want to go back to their roots, or they want to jump off what they know, and I just feel like boom, like he lands.
Like he hits hard. That's a crater.
There goes the park.
Like right.
But yeah, he's just laying there, and the curl is, the curl's a little much because they make the curl more superhuman sometimes than him.
Right? Like he should not have the curl anymore.
Like it's
the sweat, the Kryptonite Island, being beaten, being in the water, flying into the ground, lifting it up, falling through the atmosphere and crashing to Earth, and his spit curl is not moved.
I always like
it's like Kryptonian hair gel.
That's such an odd shot of just the way the camera pans up of him. Like this is all such just, I don't know, fluff. Okay, so they rip his suit off of him. They pull it out. And then as soon as they do, like they can't get the needle in. Well, of course not. He's Superman.
Yeah. Like a bullet can't hit him. I like that where they try to hit him with the paddles. Yeah, with the paddles, with the defibrillator. And it kind of just it turns it back. like it reflects the current back.
See, and there's the amazing curl. It's like, I like the curl, okay? But I like when it's used kind of subtle. There's Superman is dead. Mm-hmm.
He says always be prepared. So it's not the paper that you get in BVS.
And then Superman Lives is right next to it,
Right. It's like, is he going to live? Is he going to die? Well, we're trying to make more Superman movies. He's not going to die.
guys, we brought him back to kill him without any hope of the return, because we also just took out the Fortress of Solitude too.
Right.
Surprise! No Superman movies for you.
Right. So, they did it, and they had a creative and intelligent way of being able to do it in Justice League. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Granted, if that's how it was supposed to go down, if that was changed from movie to movie, you know, because we know it's two different movies. Like, just boil it down. It's two different movies, you know. If that was how it was from one movie to the next, you know, but I thought the idea was good, you know, like he was dead. Because he was impaled, you know, like he died, but his body, you know, couldn't decay.
Yeah.
At least probably for an exorbitant amount of time, you know, but allowing that amount of energy, planetary sized amount of energy, to basically shock him back to life. Let me show up at the hospital when you're in a coma to tell you this is your son.
Hey, just so you know, because I know you can't hear me in there, you have a son. Like,
what?
He's like, oh, that really happened? I thought it was a dream. I just feel like this.
Now, what's that? Was she like zoned out, like tunnel vision, walking through the hall? Because like she stopped and startled. Like, did I just walk past it? Like,
I just feel like all this is just drug out. You know?
Yeah.
Just...
The end, the climax of the movie. You know, the climax of any antagonist in the film. You know, he throws a rock into space. Right. Okay. It's a giant rock he throws into space, and then like this is how they end. This is how they decide to end the movie. You know, just this long drawn out thing.
I mean, yeah. They could have cut this down. Like, we have the Martha scene of like his mom's kind of there, and you're just like, And then like she's trying to, I don't know. It's just so just. Like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't even care what she's saying. You know, like.
Right.
And I think it'd been kind of cool if they ended it without her telling him. So it really felt like there's like he's laying there in the hospital with perfect hair. Like
telling you, man, he's got Kryptonian hair gel.
I want some of that Kryptonian hair gel.
Like, nothing can harm it. He must have to like heat vision his own hair to break it down so he can restyle it every time.
That's how that's how America does it. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well ever since.
Right.
It just, this movie kind of just feels like what is it? Return of the King, where it's like, oh, it's over. Nope. It's over. Nope. Nope. Okay.
Well, Return of the King was the conclusion to this grand, epic tale
That's why I
that
give
they
it a pass.
had.
That's why.
Yeah, it gets a pass for having 4 endings. You know? Plus, it had such a large ensemble cast. You kind of needed to be able to tell, like where everybody ends up.
And then we have Kitty getting yelled at by Lex. And they're on a perfectly small island that they designed just, well enough that they could do this.
Yeah. Like, that's not an island you can live on for any length of time.
They have a dog they can eat, and that's really about
I was
it.
to say, you're stuck with dog and seafood, but you're like, it's not going to last you very long. Better fashion yourself a raft off of the helicopter parts and start kicking. Start paddling.
And then we have this, like, oh, he's escaped. He's out of the hospital.
Right? Like, oh my God, Superman's not here. It's almost like they wanted to do the death of Superman and the empty tomb and all that other jazz, you know?
Yeah, and then here she is writing her story. Why the world needs Superman. So she gets another Pulitzer for writing an article that goes against her first article.
Yep.
Genius. It's genius, James. It's genius.
Yeah. Right. So, like we said, the movie lacks in a lot of areas, and we've said on multiple occasions it's beautiful to look at.
It is, and I mean, I love Superman. I mean, like Brandon.
I can watch this, but basically after he crashes to Earth, I could probably stop.
Yeah, like, I'm done. Like, here he is. Like, I see you're asleep. It's kind of like beautiful, like to watch this as a father, just that feeling that you have of like being over your child and just, just like being excited, like, because they kind of set it up at the beginning, and he gives him the awkward Kryptonian prophecy that really doesn't make sense about the father, the son becomes the father the son.
Yeah.
But, they kind of set this up at the beginning when his mom is all like, just because you're alone or you're the last doesn't mean you're alone. And it's like, oh, I see what you did there.
Right. It's kind of a weak foreshadowing,
Mm-hmm.
of you having a child you didn't know about. Like, this is probably this is a bad way to make Superman a father. Convergence, Supergirl, they're all doing it in a better manner, and he has a child from an infant that they raise. Well, until Bendis got a hold of them anyways. So I will say I like the idea of John being the Superboy that inspires and goes to the future, because it's weird. I think, I mean, it's the way it was, but I think it works well being his son as opposed to it being him, you know, being the superhero that inspires the future like that.
Yeah, totally.
I like it, and it's really good, but they had to age him up 7 years.
It would have been cool if, like,
before he, you know, instead of it actually taking a natural progression.
You know what they could
and then
have
they're gonna age him up another 7-8 years to make him Superman whenever that's supposed to start with G5.
I'm not reading that.
Or 5G.
I'm not reading that. So this.
I mean, it's going to be what's out. I'm going to end up seeing what happens. I'm hoping maybe they give that to somebody other than Bendis.
I'm not going to read it. I'll tell you right now. Like,
it's just going to take a good writer. You know what I mean? It's going to be a different story, but it's going to have to take a good writer to make it and keep it compelling. And like, Bendis has already lost it in less than 15 issues.
Yeah.
You know, of his run on Superman.
And we could get on that tangent, but I just want to say, here's Superman flying away. He said goodnight to Lois. I'm always around. This is when he gets his great line. And here he's flying through the space and the city down.
I always like that little ironic line. I'm always around.
Yes. I mean, I have a special place for Brandon Roth as Superman. He's almost, no, I was going to say he's like the George Lazenby of Superman, you know, but I think, you know, now he gets more with this upcoming TV appearance, and just, you know, he got his time cut short. He got one film, and he wasn't getting to be himself. He had to be somebody else's Superman, and and that's the end. Superman returns.
Yeah, I would say, like, the flying looks really good. The sky, the sun, the clouds looks really good. It's no First Flight.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy to think how much in just those. This was 2006. Man of Steel technically was
7 years.
Technically, Man of Steel was supposed to be out in 2012, but it was pushed to 13.
Yeah.
So a 7-year period. You know, we got. But yeah, that was the film. I enjoyed chatting it with you. My wife misses me, and she's getting mad at me for not being there. But all I was going to say is they could have done something in Bendis' run where Superboy, John, older, from the future, pops in for something, meets Little John, then goes back, and then you do a whole side book told the story of him older and kind of how he inspired and all that.
Right.
Just
absolutely.
Because I don't know, I feel like you lost something when you aged up John.
Right. It's, you know, they're always like selling books. And sometimes they're like Event Leviathan. It was 6 books, playing a game of Guess Who. You know what I mean? So it was like, you just did this to sell 6 issues. You know, you just did this to sell how many copies of 6 issues of a book? Like, for no reason. Like, you could have easily done a 6-issue miniseries of something else much more interesting that actually has an impact on your characters, instead of, you know, basically wasting your characters to do something else.
Yep. But that's another conversation.
To do what you're doing.
Once again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. James and I are going to go rant about something else. I got to go help my wife with food and enjoy Superman Returns.
And the John Williams theme that is playing us out in the credits.
Which is amazing.
Yes, sir. Happy Thanksgiving.
Look in the sky. Superman is coming. Da! It's so awesome.
Look up in the sky.
Look in the sky.